Welcome to the Paint, Rest, Repeat podcast with Ros and
Laura Day, where we chat about our creative lives as artists while keeping it real and a little bit messy.
We're here to inspire creatives just like you to push past those boundaries and make art that you love. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Paint, Rest, Repeat. This is a Laura Ros episode, and we're going to be chatting about the 3 essential steps to grow your creative art business. Are you excited?
I'm super excited to jump into this one. I think it's going to be really helpful. And for people starting out or sort of in the middle stages, I think at every stage, an artist has to take on new ideas and refresh their way of working and things like that. So there's definitely something in here for most stages of.
Yeah, definitely. We were talking a little bit earlier about whether we should change the title to, essential steps to start, grow and scale your art business, or, but we landed on grow, and we decided that sort of covers everyone. I reckon we aced it, Laura.
I think we have. So we're going to keep it sneaky Santa. What is that? Secret squirrel until the end, aren't we? The 3 steps. Because we felt like that there was like a precursor to the steps to grow your business as well.
Yeah, definitely. So this episode today is the overview of the steps, and then we're going to be publishing and producing for you some more detailed episodes to dive into the details of those steps so you can actually put those into action in your business. But today we'll do the overview, and we're going to talk also about the mindset piece and address some of the hurdles that can stop you from taking your art seriously and turning that into an art business if that's what you're looking to do, or scaling or growing your art business. Just like a little bit of context, I'm borderline ill at the moment, so my brain's a little bit whoop.
No, sorry. You're wonderful. You're always wonderful, Ros.
See, this is why you're my believing mirror, Laura. She's too nice to me. Thanks.
You're my believing mirror too.
All right. Shall we do this? So who is this episode for, Laura?
It's for creative business owners, artists who want to grow their business and their income and think about the various ways that they can generate income as a creative person. So would you say I've covered everything?
Yeah, I love that, because we were also talking before about the whole art side of things, because I always say, let's grow your art sales, but we're not just about the sales of just your artworks. I mean, there's other things that you can be doing that are art related. So yeah, definitely. So we're broader than just the artwork sales, including workshops, prints, products, those sorts of things as well.
Yeah. And then it's also your creative skills. So workshops or like we're in coaching space, I'm in retreat land. Like there's so many iterations of a creative career and so many avenues that you can take it on. Sometimes it may not even be about the income, because you might be progressing your career and applying for prizes, or you want your work to be collected by an art gallery and things like that. There's so many different avenues that you can take with this.
Yeah, and actually that's going to tie into our first step, which is getting clear on your specific direction for your art business and where you're headed. Because, like I always say things like, let's, turn your art business into a success. But like success is so personal and it's so unique. And I just feel like, both of us are very much about giving our clients permission, obviously, to create art business their way so that it feels good for them and hits their unique goals. So yeah, we'll dive into that in the very first step. But first, I feel like we need to do a little bit of an intro to the podcast and to us, just in case we have brand new listeners here today. Who are you, Laura? Who are you? Just Google Laura and she'll come up. Just joking. Laura Jane Day.
I know there are people with the same name as me too, so it can get confusing. I think there's a writer that has the same name as me, and a few other people on Instagram. But
You're better. You're the best one, Laura.
no, we're all. I don't want to cut other people down.
I'm just crushing. That's
we
all,
all
Laura.
have
I'm
a
just
place.
crushing.
We all have a place. So I am a visual artist. I am a creative coach. I help mentor creative people to grow and expand their creative businesses. I also am a retreat leader, and I will be running a amazing, immersive, and transformative retreat in Vietnam in March 2025. I don't know of recording if I have places left, because this is going to go out in Futureland. But I do have a special discount offer for podcast listeners, and I will talk about that later in the episode. I'll hand it over to you, Ros, to introduce
Yay.
yourself to the listeners.
So I am Ros Gervais, and so I'm a business coach for new and rising artists, and I help my artists to have the confidence to show up as their artist selves, and to build their income in their art business so that they can have a fulfilling art practice that just has all the positive juju vibes around it. Do you like that?
Incredible.
Yeah. I'm an artist as well myself. So I've got work in 3 galleries across Australia. And in fact, on the art side of things, I'm going to have a few artworks on display with Art to Art Gallery at the Affordable Art Fair in Melbourne, which opens on the 29th of August, 2024. So if you are Melbourne based, drop on over, say hi. I'll be there for just a little period of the fair, and I would love to meet you in person.
Yay, that's exciting. I think we're going to hang out as well. I can't wait to go and take a look. It'll be really interesting to see. Yeah,
Yay.
it'll be really nice to connect, because if you don't know, Ros and I live in different states in Australia, so we don't get to see each other all the time, although we do see each other virtually all the time.
Very often, very often. All right, so shall we first talk about some of the hurdles and the blocks that can come up for artists when either they're wanting to start their art business, or they're wanting to sort of improve and grow their art business, but they're coming up against some blocks prior to taking those steps towards growth. What sort of things do you think hold artists back at that point, Laura?
I think some huge blocks for artists is the thought of being seen and showing their work, and even showing their work in progress. There can be some feelings of nervousness around sort of showing your face, doing the social media promotions. And yeah, I think it can feel exposing for some artists. They can be really faced with some confidence blocks, really.
Yeah.
What about you, Ros?
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, as you say that, I wanted to type, but I didn't want to have like tip, 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 tip on the podcast. So I've just written down what like the themes that you just mentioned. So it's the perfectionism, I think, around wanting to only share your artwork when it's ready. I've talked to a lot of clients who just they're not sharing on socials because they haven't finished their artwork. It's like, well, it's okay to show the process or show part of your studio space, even if you're working at your kitchen bench. Those things are okay. And then you mentioned around visibility. Is it okay to be seen as an artist? And possibly even related to that, am I even an artist? And how is that going to be received by others? And then being a little bit more introverted and maybe being a little bit more on the shyer side and not wanting to share too much of yourself publicly. So many blocks can come up for artists, and I'm wondering, if our listeners are relating to this, send us a DM, because we're so happy to chat with you through these sorts of blocks and help you out on your journey. What else have I got down? So then there's the art side as well. I feel like a lot of artists want to have their style sorted, and again, I think this is this perfectionism piece. They want to have their styles sorted, locked in, loaded, crystal clear, perfect, and going to be set in stone forevermore. I'm going to be an a colorful abstract artist and this is my style. And I think that can hold back a lot of artists as well. Have you come across that in your journey as a coach?
Yeah, in some of my questionnaires, like before we start our engagement and coaching, I do ask, like, what do you think is something that holds you back? And it does come up quite a lot, that perfectionism piece. It is about like getting everything in order, all your ducks lined up in a row, having this complete, refined, beautiful product. But I think that, you know, that can be a way that you sort of shy away and you're not fully showing up for yourself and showing up for this direction that you want to take. It can be just something that it allows you or gives you permission to like step back and not put your work out there. So perfectionism, you know, you can look at the stories that underlie that in a way and sort of have a think about like maybe where the messaging or the programming has come from in your past. And you know, usually when we put ourselves in such a vulnerable space and you don't know the outcome and you don't know how it's going to be received and you don't know who's watching you, it can feel like a really big deal for some people. So they'd rather just not even try.
Yeah. And
Mm.
I remember that still. I remember the
Mhm.
first time I shared my art. And it was very, very scary, very, very intimidating. But I think something just came over me and I just thought, I'm just going to do it and see what happens. And I remember that first post on socials. And you know what happened? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. So
Mm.
all that fear was
Mhm.
in my mind. It was in my head.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I guess for us, with our listeners today, think who might be on that side, on that more anxious side, that more perfectionistic side, I guess we're just encouraging you to try the thing, see what happens. Almost treat it like an experiment.
I love that. Treating it like an experiment because no one is thinking more about your artwork or your art business or what you're doing than you.
We like
Um,
to think we're really important, don't we? Self included. Don't worry. No judgment.
um, and sometimes people think that, oh, if I'm posting too much or sharing too much or, you know, just being out there too much, you know, then it can be like, you know, bombardment, but it's actually not like, um, everything is so fast paced and all of that sort of stuff. So if, yeah, you're wanting to gain exposure, you know, test and expand and grow your business, the best way to do it is just to share your work and you know, do it messy, do it raw, do it vulnerable, like do it anyway. I think that um, you know, if you're just in the process, people will admire you for that as well. We started this podcast not knowing what to expect, and we like really were finding our feet. I don't want to direct people to our first
Go back and
episodes.
listen to the first episode. I
Yeah,
can't listen to it.
no,
So go back.
I have not listened to it. But yeah, like we were raw, we were didn't know what we were doing. And you know, some people might look at us and think that we've all got it figured out. But let's be honest, like we're testing and experimenting and putting things out there and trying and you know, twisting and changing and all of that sort of stuff. Like it is a windy road and we don't know what's going to take and what's going to work and what direction something's going to pull us in. Um, yeah, you just don't know until you start.
This is where the creative piece, I think, comes in the context of art business as well. It's just trying the things, seeing what happens, following your nose, and, doing more of whatever works. So yeah, creativity, try the things, be brave, see what happens. Yeah. So what else did I have on my list? I was talking about in my notes here was your identity as well can hold you back. So are you even an artist? We mentioned that one before. But what notes did you have around the identity piece, Laura?
I think it was, just that belief piece. The giving yourself permission to be an artist and creator. That sort of, there can be some shadow things or programming or things around art is frivolous, art is not serious, artists can't make money, you can't have an art career, it's too competitive, there's too many people doing the same thing that you want to do, why would I try? There, gosh, there's so much baggage.
These are all limiting beliefs as well. Like they come from somewhere. They're legitimate in that they come from somewhere. Often either we were raised in an environment like that, or in a generation like that, where these sort of lines were verbalized around us. And I think, a big piece of the journey of an artist is to notice them and then to work out if they're holding you back from the success that you were after, and then to reframe them and basically say those on repeat in your mind, because that will help you to achieve whatever you're wanting to achieve. And it's sort of that taking back control, rather being a victim to these one-liners that are not very helpful. You're taking back that control and going, no, you know what? I'm choosing not to believe that, and I'm going to collect evidence to back me up on that, and then I'm going to move forward towards the thing that I'm wanting to build, because this is actually my life, and I want to make something of my time here, and I want to feel happy, and I want to feel that reward as well.
Yeah, because as creators we do have that we have that spark, that something within us that has propelled us to create and live in this world as an artist and a creator. So that there is that draw. It's just whether you're willing to look at the blocks, the limiting beliefs, and those things that are getting in the way, so you can make steps towards like really pursuing this as your path and expanding and growing. And I think we've talked about this before. Having your own business is like the biggest personal development journey like ever.
Great minds. I was totally just thinking about that. I don't know what episode it is. Probably episode 3. Go back and listen.
When we're really messy. I think we still are, Ros.
We're still
Why
messy.
am I saying that?
We're organic creatures,
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like this, because it's just like we didn't put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be all serious and perfectly edited, perfectly polished, like this stylish studio. Like we're just doing it with the equipment that we have.
My studio is stylish.
Oh yeah,
Laura.
no. I'm just talking about. No, it's gorgeous and colorful, and it is lovely, and I love my studio too. But I'm talking about those big like podcasts that have like flashy neon signs, and they rent out like this incredible space and all of that sort of stuff. Like we weren't putting those blocks and barriers in our place because we wanted to do this, and we thought it was like a really incredible, fun, collaborative project that we wanted to do.
I think our values are a little bit different to that as well, or for me anyway. I don't want to speak for you, but of what I know of you, I think we're the same on that sort of level, just that, we're not into the showy sort of thing. We're more into the wholehearted service, I think, and helping other people on their journeys. It's not about all the glitz and the glam.
Yeah. So shall we touch on our 3 steps, or did you want to dive into the identity piece like a little bit further?
I reckon we go into the steps.
I think so too.
Let's do it. Also, by the way, I really hope you can't hear any background noise. I've got my husband works from home often, and I can hear him. Can you hear him, Laura?
No, I don't think I can. So I think we're all good.
Excellent. All right, 3 steps. Are we ready? So this is just we will be popping out some detailed episodes on these topics. So this is our overview only. And yeah, we'd love to know your feedback and your thoughts, listeners, so that we can make sure we include content, like more detailed content that applies specifically to you as well. So feel free to send us a DM or join the broadcast channel on Instagram for Paint, Rest, Repeat. You can see the link in Laura's bio on Insta.
Yes, you'll be notified of when episodes come out and all that jazz.
Woot. All right.
So, the steps, Ros.
Number one, get clear on your vision. It's really important to know where you are heading. And you can look at things like having a business plan. I say that, by the way. In a what's the word, in a light-hearted way, because I don't know about you, but business plan like just sounds stressful. So we just mean a really light version of a business plan, and also looking at your income stream options inside your art business. Step number one.
Yeah, amazing. I think that knowing who you are, knowing where you're going, and having a plan is incredibly powerful. And yeah, just even having those action steps in place, like Ros was saying, big professional business plan, maybe not. We take, like I was talking about before earlier in the episode, we take twists and turns. So as long as you've got like some sort of plan or formula to work towards, then that's when, growth happens.
Yeah, love that. And that's all around the goals piece as well, like knowing where you're headed. I had a client recently, I'm not going to go into too much depth. We need to keep this high level. But I had a client recently who had a massive realization that she's not feeling like a success because she actually doesn't know where she's going. But, like if you're running a running race, a marathon, which I've run, fun fact, I've run a marathon before, and you don't know where the end is, you're never going to get there.
Yeah. You'll be running around in circles.
You're literally doing circles.
So you do need to know, what the goal is, like what you're working towards.
Otherwise, you feel rubbish, basically, as well. So yeah. Anyway, that's number one. Step number two is around the confidence in marketing. Yes. Laura and I are giggling because we're looking at our notes, and it says confidence in marking yourself. I don't know.
There's a typo.
Confidence in marketing yourself. Oh my goodness, there are some serious allergies to marketing in the artist world, Laura.
Yes, there is. I think in Australia too, we do sort of struggle with that tall poppy syndrome. It could be comparisonitis and things like that, just sort of thinking that other people are more established, more professional, more advanced than us. But yeah, confidence in marketing yourself in your own unique way. So, get clear on your vision, know who you are, know where you're heading, then the confidence builds. So, figuring out who you're marketing to, testing the market and all of that sort of stuff. If you know who you're talking to, then you can build that confidence and your messaging around what you're selling and what you're promoting.
Definitely. And also you can market in a way that feels good for you and that is actually fun. There's so many ways to market yourself in art business, and full permission to do it your way and do it in a way that is joyful. That doesn't mean, however, staying entirely in your comfort zone. You do have to sometimes branch out a little bit, just a little bit, try some new things, see how they go. But yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more in a future episode about this marketing piece, including branding, social media stuff, audience engagement, and a few other tips and strategies as well.
Amazing.
Step number 3, drum roll.
Yeah, drum roll. Number 3 is collaborate and network. So we've talked about this in the past. This has definitely impacted the growth of both of our businesses, and it is tapping into your community, networking, figuring out the landscape, and all of that sort of stuff. So we'll be sharing in a future episode our how-to tips. But maybe, Ros, did you want to share a bit about how collaboration and networking has like really helped you?
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting because the more visible you are, and I'm aware that it takes a bit of bravery. I
Mhm.
would want to say bravery rather than confidence. Bravery to
Yeah,
be
I like
visible.
that. Hmm.
Yeah. But the
Hmm.
more visible you are, the more often opportunities sort of land in your lap. Like I get emails saying, "Hey Ros, do you want to take part in this?" And I'm like,
Hmm.
"Oh, sure." I'm even at this point where I actually am having to learn how to say no to things, as Laura knows.
Yeah.
So that visibility through connections can really, really help. So yeah,
Hmm.
just being brave and trying to get out there a little bit, and
Yeah.
also doing this whole networking piece in a way that is manageable for you, because I still have two small kiddos. We don't have a lot of help in our family balance, so I'm not exactly going out to every art opening I can see. So it's just a little bit more networking than you normally do. Very, very beneficial. So again, look, we are going to dive more into this topic in more detail in a future episode. So what do you think? 3 steps? Sounding good?
Yeah, and they all feed into each other. You're talking about that visibility piece, but then that goes to the marketing step before, because like you need to be out there and marketing yourself for people to see you, and then you'll be front of mind when people are offering you opportunities. And Ros, what a brilliant place to be in your art career, that you're thinking of being strategic now and
Yeah.
saying no to amazing opportunities. But I'm sure that there would be some listeners who are like, hey, where's my opportunities? So definitely listen in to all of the 3 episodes on the 3 steps. They will be coming out in the future, and I'll repeat them again. So, number 1 is getting clear on your vision, knowing who you are and where you're heading. Number 2 is confidence in marketing yourself, getting out there, being brave, getting that exposure. And number 3 is collaborating and network and leveraging that and, playing the game.
Sounds amazing, Laura. Now, before we wrap up, I just wanted to talk about your retreat for a second,
Sure.
because it's coming up quite soon, right? And did you say you have a discount?
I do special discount for podcast listeners. So our special Paint, Rest, Repeat listeners, I do have a discount code for you. So if you would like to jump onto the retreat experience, the code is PRR200. You can send me a message. But this retreat is going to be an incredible fusion of art, healing, respite, and cultural immersion as well. Vietnam is my favorite country I've traveled to. Hoi An, the town that we are going to, is my favorite part of Vietnam. The villa is gorgeous. The staff are just like so lovely and beautiful. And last time I was there, I just did not want to leave because I just had the best time. So I'm imagining that for our retreat guests. We are going to be doing amazing excursions together. We are going to be feasting on amazing Vietnamese food, beautiful tropical fresh fruits. There is nothing like when you're in a tropical destination, there's nothing that compares to eating the amazing fruits that they have on offer. Lots of connection, lots of like gorgeous women being together and experiencing an incredible place together. We will be going down to the ancient town, admiring all the beautiful lanterns and the landscape, lots of feasts for inspiration and photographs and all of that sort of jazz. Yeah, I'd love to welcome you into the experience. Time of recording, I don't know how many spots I have left. So
So should they head over to a link or just send you a DM on Insta? What's the best way?
well, we'll have the retreat link in the show notes here. You
Yep.
can reach out to me through Instagram. All the info will be in the podcast episode. But yeah, just definitely start a conversation with me if you have any questions. I'm so more than happy to support you through all of that experience. I know that booking an international retreat is a big decision, and it's not like a light decision. You have to think quite intensely about how that's going to fit into your life and how that's going to benefit you. But it is also an amazing gift that you can give to yourself, carving out that time and space for your own self-care and personal healing. So yeah, I'd love to welcome you in. Very exciting, Rose.
I'm imagining all of your retreat guests, arriving a little bit like regular life stressed, and then walking home, like going home in like this floaty, like floaty,
Lumped
like
up, like sort of
heart levitating. Yeah. Because that's just going to be so amazing. Just imagine. So if you don't know, listeners, I'm a mum to two little peeps. And so this idea of having a whole week of just space for me is just, it's so exciting. I can almost not even fathom it. Like, so yeah, for me, the big draw card would be that space. That space, just like, that's just pure luxury.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
Now, beautiful listeners, before we do wrap up, please make sure that you are subscribed to our podcast. Depending on where you are listening, you can actually click, like, I don't know, I think on Spotify, you can click a bell little picture, and then you're notified when there's brand new episodes. So do that. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, we would absolutely love a review. So head over there, search us up, leave us a review, 5 stars for good karma. And if you leave your Instagram handle in your testimonial, we can give you a shout out here on the podcast. What else? That's it.
I think you've covered it all. Just keep an eye out for future episodes on the other topics, the 3 steps that we talked about in the episode today.
Good one. So today's episode 72, right?
Episode 72, and then we'll have some interview episodes in between, but they'll be coming out in future episodes.
All right. So the next episodes, logically, are going to be episode 74, 76, and 78.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Mark those down, everybody. We'll see you soon. We'll see you in the next episode.
All right. See you then.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.